They don't want you to know this truth, because once you do, you'll never bow to anyone again. Power is not kindness. Power is not mercy. Power is the cold ability to bend reality to your will. Every law, every throne, every empire has been built on this principle, yet the weak are fed lies about virtue and fairness to keep them obedient. Machiavelli knew men are driven by fear and desire, not ideals, and the one who masters both controls the game. Understand this: if you keep clinging to comfort, you will remain prey. If you hesitate, you will remain disposable. But if you embrace the dark truth of power, you will become untouchable. Right now, I want you to comment this phrase below. I choose power over excuses. Do it, because this is the first execution of your old self. This is the first step toward becoming unstoppable. Number 1, the lie of equality. Life is not fair. It never was, and it never will be. Fairness is a myth, a weapon used by the powerful to pacify the masses. They preach equality to the herd, so the herd stays predictable, weak, and easy to manage. But behind the curtain, every man of consequence is playing a different game. They exploit, manipulate, and dominate, while the rest waste their lives waiting for justice that will never come. Look at history. The timid man is ignored, the polite man is discarded, the honest man is betrayed. Fairness never saved them. Their obedience made them disposable. And you see it now, in your own life, in the workplace, in relationships, in society. The ambitious do not rise because they deserve it. They rise because they demand it, because they understand that power respects nothing but itself. This is the brutal truth. The world is already tilted, and your survival depends on tilting it further in your favor. Waiting for life to balance itself is weakness. Expecting others to play fair is stupidity. The man who wins is the man who seizes advantage, dictates the rules, and forces others to adjust. Power is not granted, it is taken. It is not offered, it is imposed. Those who internalize this truth step into the role of predator. Those who don't remain prey. There is no middle ground. You are either feared or forgotten, and if you cannot stomach that reality, you will be consumed by it. Number 2, fear and desire. Every move in human history has been governed by two forces, fear and desire. Strip away morality, strip away excuses, and you'll see it clearly. Men act because they want something, or because they're afraid to lose something. That's it. These are the levers of power, and Machiavelli understood them better than anyone. The average man denies this truth. He convinces himself that people are guided by fairness, loyalty, or goodwill. But look closer. The loyal man stays only until fear is gone or desire is unmet. The good man acts good only as long as it costs him nothing. Once pressure arrives, masks fall, and you see the truth. Men are selfish, men are weak, and men are predictable. To gain power, you must learn how to pull these levers. Feed desire, and you create followers. Invoke fear, and you command obedience. Combine both, and you build absolute control. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. A man who fails to understand fear and desire will forever be at the mercy of those who do. Ask yourself, what do you fear most? What do you desire most? Until you master those forces within yourself, someone else will use them against you. The untouchable man eliminates fear in his own heart, controls his desires with discipline, and then turns those forces outward to bend others to his will. That is the architecture of power. Number 3, masks of power. Power is never naked. It is always dressed in disguise. The greatest rulers, the sharpest minds, the most feared men in history, none of them walked the earth revealing their true hand. Caesar smiled as his Senate conspired. Napoleon spoke of liberty while planning conquest. Corporate kings today preach ethics while carving up empires behind closed doors. The mask is as old as civilization. And yet, the weak despise it. They cry for authenticity, transparency. Just be yourself. That advice has destroyed more men than failure ever could. Do you know why? Because men who show everything invite attack. They reveal their intentions, their desires, their weaknesses, and in doing so, they hand their enemies the very weapons that will be used against them. In the real world, power does not reward honesty. It rewards strategy. The mask is not hypocrisy. It is survival. It is adaptation. You do not walk into war waving your plans in the air. You conceal them. You disguise them. You protect them until the moment comes to strike. Think of it like this. In every room you enter, you are judged instantly. Men and women scan your face, your tone, your words, your body language. If they can read you, they will predict you. If they can predict you, they will control you. The one who reveals too much is already defeated, but the one who reveals nothing, he becomes a mystery. And mystery is fear. Mystery is leverage. The weak reveal too much. They overshare their emotions. They confess their plans. They broadcast their insecurities under the false belief that vulnerability earns them respect. It does not. It earns them exploitation. The world is filled with predators. Predators in suits, predators in politics, predators even in your circle of friends. Show them your wound, and they will not heal it. They will press it deeper. Machiavelli said it plainly. Men judge more by the eye than the hand. What does this mean? It means appearances rule the world. People see the mask, not the truth. They obey what they perceive, not what is real. And if you want to wield power, you must become a master of appearance. The untouchable man knows this. His face is calm when storms rage inside. His voice is measured when his enemies expect rage. His moves are concealed, his strategies hidden, until the moment of execution, sudden, decisive, devastating. He wears the mask not because he fears others, but because he understands the battlefield. He knows that a man who exposes himself fully does not last long in a world of wolves. Consider the generals of old. They misled their enemies with false retreats, hidden flanks, and deliberate deceptions. Was that cowardice? Number. It was brilliance. They wore masks on the battlefield. You must do the same in life, at work, in relationships, in every negotiation, in every room. Silence becomes a mask. Self-control becomes a mask. Even kindness can become a mask. You use it to disarm, to lower defenses, to make others underestimate you. Because when people underestimate you, they hand you the advantage. They show you their cards while assuming you have none. And then, when the time is right, you strike, not with hesitation, but with precision. Understand this. A mask is not a lie. A mask is a weapon. It is the armor that shields you from the endless probing of others. It is the blade that allows you to maneuver unseen. It is the key that keeps your true intentions locked away until no one can stop them. The man who refuses to wear a mask walks unarmed into battle. He is naked in a world designed to consume him, and he will fall, not because he lacked strength, but because he lacked cunning. Let me make this clear. Authenticity is overrated. In fact, authenticity is a weakness when placed in the wrong context. Does the predator reveal his hunger before he pounces? Does the chess master show his strategy before the endgame? Number, he conceals, he disguises, he masks, and because of that, he wins. You don't need to show the world your anger. Let them believe you are calm. You don't need to reveal your goals. Let them think you are aimless. You don't need to confess your weaknesses. Let them assume you have none. Every false assumption they make about you becomes another weapon in your arsenal. This is the paradox. The mask frees you. It allows you to operate without interference. It shields you from attack. It makes you unpredictable, unreadable, unshakable. The man who cannot be read cannot be controlled, and the man who cannot be controlled cannot be broken. The greatest mistake is to confuse coldness with cruelty. Wearing the mask does not mean you live without feeling. It means you control feeling. It means you decide when to reveal, when to conceal, and when to unleash. That discipline makes you untouchable. You must master this discipline. Guard your face. Let it betray nothing. Guard your words. Speak less than you know. Promise less than you can deliver. Reveal nothing of your plans. Guard your actions. Let them mislead. Let them confuse. Let them underestimate until you choose otherwise. And here's the final truth. In the game of power, men are not destroyed by what their enemies know. They are destroyed by what they reveal. The strong man learns to live behind his masks, not trapped by them, but liberated through them. He becomes unreadable. He becomes untouchable. He becomes the architect of illusion. And when the moment comes to tear the mask away, to show the face beneath, it is already too late for those who thought they understood him. This is not paranoia. This is not cynicism. This is reality. A reality Machiavelli himself carved into words. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Remember that line. Burn it into your mind, because it is the essence of cold power psychology. And now ask yourself, how many masks do you own? How many do you need? Which ones are protecting you, and which ones must you forge? Because until you learn to wield them with precision, you will remain vulnerable. But once you do, you will step into the realm of the untouchable. Number 4, the ruthless economy of power. Power is not free, it is an economy. Every action, every word, every alliance is a transaction in that economy. The weak spend recklessly. They waste time, they waste energy, they waste loyalty on people and causes that give them nothing in return. And then they wonder why they are bankrupt, powerless, discarded, forgotten. The strong are different. The strong understand that power must be invested, protected, multiplied. They measure every move in terms of gain and loss. If an action does not advance their position, they do not take it. If a person drains more than they contribute, they are cut away. If a path does not lead to strength, it is abandoned. This is where weakness dies, because the herd is addicted to waste. They waste words explaining themselves. They waste energy chasing approval. They waste loyalty on those who will betray them the moment fear fades. Their power leaks out like water in broken hands, and soon nothing remains. Machiavelli understood this principle with clarity. He wrote that generosity is dangerous for rulers. Why? Because when you give too much, when you spread your energy without calculation, you end up despised rather than loved. Men expect more. They demand more. And when you finally refuse, they hate you for it. The same is true in life. If you try to please everyone, you will displease yourself and destroy your position. The ruthless economy of power demands one thing: discipline. Discipline to say no. Discipline to withhold. Discipline to calculate every move with cold precision. You do not waste words on the unworthy. You do not waste emotions on the disloyal. You do not waste loyalty on those who cannot strengthen your throne. Consider the way kings ruled their courts. They did not grant favor to every man who bowed. They distributed rewards strategically, enough to secure loyalty, but never so much as to weaken themselves. They punished betrayal swiftly and rewarded obedience selectively. This was not cruelty, it was arithmetic. Ask yourself, how much of your time is spent on things that yield nothing? How much of your energy is consumed by people who give nothing in return? How much loyalty have you poured into hands that would drop you at the first sign of danger? Every moment, every ounce of attention, every piece of loyalty you give away without return is theft. Not theft committed against you, but theft you commit against yourself. The untouchable man guards his resources like a fortress. His time is precious, his energy is sacred, his loyalty is earned, never given freely. He knows that every transaction must strengthen his position, not weaken it. He does not explain himself to fools. He does not chase the approval of those beneath him. He does not waste breath convincing the blind. He invests only where returns are certain. This is the coldness of true power, to measure people the way you measure assets. Are they useful? Are they dangerous? Do they strengthen your throne, or do they weaken it? If the answer is no, they are cut away without hesitation. Mercy to the useless is weakness, and weakness is death. But do not confuse this with isolation. A king without allies is as doomed as a fool with too many. The difference is calculation. Alliances are built not on sentiment, but on exchange. You give what you must to secure loyalty, and nothing more. You offer appearance when substance is not required. You promise what you do not intend to deliver if it keeps the game alive. The goal is always the same: to expand, to protect, to consolidate. Machiavelli said it best: men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, for heavy ones they cannot. What does this mean? It means that half measures are the death of kings. If you must reward, reward with enough force to secure loyalty. If you must punish, punish so thoroughly that revenge is impossible. Never waste effort on gestures that achieve nothing. Never bleed for those who will not bleed for you. This ruthless economy demands clarity. You must know the cost of every action. Every word you speak is an investment of power. Every display of emotion is a leak of energy. Every loyalty given is a piece of your throne placed in another man's hands. You must ask, does this strengthen me, or does this diminish me? The weak recoil at this philosophy. They call it cold, cruel, inhuman. But what have their warmth and softness earned them? Nothing but mediocrity, exploitation, and regret. They give endlessly and receive little. They sacrifice endlessly and gain nothing. They bleed for others and then die forgotten. That is not nobility. That is slavery. The untouchable man sees it differently. He knows that discipline is not cruelty, it is clarity. To withhold from the unworthy is not evil, it is survival. To calculate every move is not inhuman, it is the essence of control. He becomes a master of conservation, investing only where it matters, cutting away all that does not. Imagine your life as a throne room. Every visitor demands something: your time, your energy, your loyalty, your approval. If you grant it freely, you will be left empty, your throne reduced to rubble. But if you calculate, if you measure, if you choose carefully, you will leave the room stronger after every transaction. That is the ruthless economy of power. And here is the final law. In this economy, sentiment is bankruptcy. You cannot afford to give because you feel like it. You cannot afford to spend because you owe it to them. You cannot afford to invest because you are afraid of being disliked. Sentiment is the weakness the powerful exploit. They demand your emotion while giving none of their own. They demand your loyalty while plotting your downfall. They demand your time while building their throne on your exhaustion. Reject this. Calculate instead. Weigh everything. If it does not return power, cut it. If it does not strengthen you, abandon it. If it does not advance you, destroy it. The ruthless economy rewards only those who protect their resources with an iron hand. And when you master it, when every word, every move, every alliance is calculated, you become untouchable. Because no one can drain you, no one can weaken you, no one can pull you into their economy. You stand outside of it, above it, controlling it. This is not just survival. This is dominion. The man who controls his resources controls his throne. And the man who controls his throne controls the world. Number 5. The discipline of emotion. The strongest men in history were not those who conquered armies, but those who conquered themselves. You cannot rule others if you cannot first rule your own mind. Power begins not in the throne, not in the battlefield, but in the silence of your own discipline. And the greatest battlefield is not external, it is within. Emotion is the most dangerous enemy of power. Anger blinds, fear paralyzes, desire distracts, sentiment weakens. A man ruled by his emotions is a man ruled by others, because anyone who can trigger him owns him. They do not need chains to control him, only the right words, the right gesture, the right manipulation of feeling. Look at history. Kings have lost empires because of rage. Generals have lost battles because of pride. Leaders have been assassinated not by armies, but by their own uncontrolled appetites. It is not the world that breaks men, it is their lack of discipline. Machiavelli wrote, "The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. But before even that, you can measure a ruler's strength by the way he governs himself. Does he erupt in rage at small insults? Does he drown in desire when temptation appears? Does he cling to loyalty out of sentiment? If so, he is already dead. The wolves around him simply wait for the moment of weakness to strike. Understand this. Emotion is fuel, not master. The untouchable man does not destroy his emotions, but he bends them to his will. Anger becomes energy for decisive action, but never reckless. Fear becomes awareness, sharpening his senses, but never paralyzing. Desire becomes ambition, fueling his rise, but never controlling his direction. Every emotion serves him, or it is eliminated. This requires discipline of the highest order, discipline to pause when provoked, discipline to remain silent when attacked, discipline to control the face, the tone, the breath. The herd calls this cold. They call it heartless. They call it inhuman. But look at them, swayed by every impulse, dragged by every distraction, enslaved by their own chaos. Their warmth is their weakness. Their openness is their undoing. The cold man is free. Free because no one can shake him. Free because no one can read him. Free because his enemies exhaust themselves trying to provoke him while he remains unmoved, calculating, precise. That silence, that control, terrifies men. They cannot understand it because they are slaves to impulses you have already killed. Consider the art of negotiation. The man who grows emotional first loses. The man who flinches, who pleads, who reacts, gives his opponent leverage. But the man who stays composed, unreadable, who does not reveal excitement or desperation, he controls the room. He dictates the pace. He bends the outcome. His silence alone becomes pressure. Or look at war. Generals who let anger drive them charge too soon, wasting men and resources. Generals who let fear control them hesitate, missing the moment of victory. But the disciplined commander, cold, calculating, unshaken, chooses his strike with precision. And when he moves with certainty, breaking armies with clarity of mind. This is the lesson. To master others, you must master yourself. To conquer empires, you must first conquer the empire within. Your face must become unreadable. Your words must be measured. Your impulses must be leashed. You must train yourself to remain calm when others break, to remain focused when others scatter, to remain cold when others burn. And here is the paradox. The colder you are within, the more power you radiate without. Men sense discipline. They sense when another cannot be moved, cannot be provoked, cannot be broken. They fear it, they respect it, and they yield to it, because they know, whether they admit it or not, that the man who masters himself is already their master. But this discipline is not easy. It is forged in struggle. You must put yourself in the fire. You must learn to sit in discomfort without flinching. You must train yourself to remain silent when every impulse screams to speak. You must practice patience when your blood demands haste. It is war against yourself, but when you win it, you become untouchable. Do not mistake suppression for mastery. Suppression is fragile. It is bottling up rage until it explodes. Mastery is transforming rage into fuel, fear into clarity, desire into ambition. It is alchemy, the art of turning weakness into strength. And like alchemy, it demands patience, discipline, and repetition until it becomes your nature. The herd will never understand this. They will continue to believe that being true to their feelings makes them noble. They will cry when broken, rage when offended, lust when tempted, boast when flattered. They will remain predictable, controllable, weak. And they will be used by those who understand what they never will. That emotion, unchecked, is a leash. Break that leash. Forge a new one and place it in your own hands. The untouchable man does not need to announce his power. It radiates in his composure. He does not need to shout his dominance. It is seen in his silence. He does not need to prove himself with theatrics. His cold presence alone bends the atmosphere of a room. And here lies the highest law of this discipline. When you cannot be moved, you cannot be ruled. When you cannot be provoked, you cannot be manipulated. When you cannot be broken, you cannot be defeated. That is the essence of Machiavellian psychology. That is the foundation of cold power. Number 6, the art of control. Power is not just the ability to strike. Striking is crude. Striking is obvious. Striking is the last resort of the desperate. True power is the ability to bend others without force, to direct the flow of events without being seen, to command obedience without speaking a word. That is not force. That is control. And control is the highest art of power. Think about it. Raw strength is easy to identify. It's wealth, armies, muscle, position. But raw strength alone is unstable. A rich man can go bankrupt. An army can be defeated. A body can age. Position can be taken away. Force wins battles, but it rarely wins wars. What endures is control, the ability to make others act in your favor willingly, even enthusiastically, while believing it was their choice all along. That is power no sword can match. Look at the great rulers of history. Alexander conquered with armies, but he kept control with culture. The Romans mastered nations not just with legions, but with laws, roads, religion, and spectacle. They created systems that lived inside the minds of the conquered long after the soldiers had left. This is control at its highest level, not holding chains around men's necks, but weaving invisible chains through their thoughts. Machiavelli understood this with brutal clarity. He wrote that it is safer to be feared than loved because love depends on the loyalty of others, while fear depends only on your control of perception. But he also knew that fear itself could be managed, not just by threats, but by shaping belief. If men believe you are inevitable, they submit before you even act. If they believe resistance is useless, they surrender before you even demand it. This is the foundation of control, shaping perception. Men do not act on truth, they act on what they perceive to be truth. If they believe you are powerful, they will treat you as powerful, even if your resources are few. If they believe you are weak, they will exploit you, even if your strength is greater than theirs. Control perception, and you control reality. Perception is manipulated in many ways, through appearances, through silence, through rumor, through suggestion. The master of control knows how to bend the atmosphere of a room without speaking a word. He carries himself in a way that makes men hesitate. He speaks sparingly so that every word becomes heavier. He lets rumors swirl, never confirming, never denying, allowing others to create myths around him. These myths are more powerful than facts, because men cling to belief long after they have abandoned reason. But perception alone is not enough. Control requires influence. Influence is not command, it is suggestion. The brute commands, "Do this." The subtle man frames reality so that his target concludes, "This is what I want to do." And when a man believes he chose freely, he resists nothing. He defends the very chains placed upon him. Consider religion. Consider ideology. Consider politics. Men fight wars, sacrifice fortunes, even kill for beliefs they did not create. They believe these are their own convictions, but in reality, They were planted by rulers, priests, and propagandists who understood the mechanics of control. This is influence at scale, bending millions through stories, symbols, and illusions. On the personal level, the same laws apply. In negotiation, you do not demand, you frame. You present options that lead to your desired outcome while making the other party believe they chose wisely. In relationships, you do not beg, you guide. You shape the emotional tone so the other clings tighter while believing it was their decision. At work, you do not force, you suggest. You present ideas in ways that flatter egos, and those egos carry your agenda forward as their own. This is why the untouchable man must master restraint. The impatient reveal their control too early. They demand recognition, exposing the strings they are pulling. But once others see the strings, resistance forms. The true master hides the strings. He creates a stage where others act as his puppets while believing they are free. He is invisible and therefore unstoppable. Control also requires consequence. Fear is a tool, but it must be sharpened carefully. If you reward loyalty consistently, men begin to rely on you. If you punish betrayal swiftly, men learn that disobedience carries a cost. But the key is balance. Excessive generosity breeds entitlement. Excessive punishment breeds rebellion. The ruler who controls knows when to reward, when to punish, and when to do nothing at all. Sometimes silence itself is punishment. Sometimes absence itself is power. The weak cannot manage this balance. They reward out of sentiment. They punish out of rage. They destroy when they should wait, and they wait when they should destroy. Their emotions sabotage their control. They show their hand too early. They lose their grip. And when they do, everything collapses. The untouchable man calculates. His rewards are precise, never more than necessary, never less than effective. His punishments are total, leaving no room for revenge. His silences are deliberate, creating unease without explanation. Over time, those around him are conditioned. They learn unconsciously that his presence is power, that his judgment is law, that his silence is a warning. They obey without thinking. Control is not always domination. Sometimes it is guidance. Sometimes it is containment. Sometimes it is letting others move freely within a space you have already defined. Like a chessboard, your pieces are limited, but you design the board so your opponent's moves only lead where you want them to go. He believes he has choices. In reality, he has none. This is the difference between control and force. Force removes choice openly. Control removes choice invisibly. Force makes enemies. Control makes believers. And believers are far more useful than slaves. The slave obeys only when watched. The believer obeys even when no one is there. That is the brilliance of Machiavellian control. Once it enters the mind, the body follows willingly. Now ask yourself, who controls you? Look closely. The systems you live under, the habits you repeat, the fears you carry, the desires you chase. Are these truly yours, or were they planted in you by others who understood this game better than you do? The food you eat, the clothes you wear, the opinions you hold, the dreams you chase, how much of it is truly yours? How much of it is control, invisible but absolute? This is why you must master control yourself, because if you do not, someone else already has. If you do not seize the strings, you are the puppet. If you do not design the board, you are the pawn. Control or be controlled. There is no third option. The untouchable man knows this law. He studies perception. He refines influence. He manages consequence. He builds systems around him so that even in his absence, his will continues to operate. He does not simply gain followers, he manufactures loyalty. He does not simply punish betrayal, he prevents it by shaping the environment so that betrayal is unthinkable. He does not simply demand power, he becomes the gravitational center around which all others orbit. And here is the final truth. Control is not about enslaving the world. It is about mastering it, mastering yourself, mastering perception, mastering influence, mastering consequence. With these, you bend others without effort, not through chains, but through belief, not through brute force, but through subtlety, not through chaos, but through design. When you reach this level, you no longer need to chase power. Power chases you. Opportunities align around you. People adjust themselves to you. Rooms fall silent when you enter. Decisions tilt in your favor, even when you do not speak. That is not magic. It is control, the rarest, coldest, most enduring form of power. And once you master it, you will understand what Machiavelli meant. Fear and desire are the levers, but control is the hand that pulls them. With it, you do not just win battles, you shape destinies. You do not just rule men. You own their loyalty, their fear, their perception, their very sense of reality. And that, more than armies, more than wealth, more than thrones, is true power. Number 7. Isolation and the fortress of power. A man without walls is a man exposed. Power without barriers is temporary, fragile, doomed to collapse. Every empire that has ever fallen fell first because its defenses were neglected, because its rulers mistook access for strength, because they confused openness with stability. But the truth is simple. Power demands isolation. To be untouchable, you must build your fortress. Not just walls of stone, not just armies of steel. I mean the fortress of discipline, of boundaries, of ruthless self-protection. Weak men throw their doors open to everyone, friends, enemies, strangers alike. They give access freely. They share their plans, their fears, their emotions, their energy with anyone who asks. And then they wonder why they are betrayed, why they are drained, why they are always vulnerable. Power does not bleed itself dry in the name of connection. Power does not beg to be understood. Power protects itself with distance. The fortress is necessary because men, by nature, are opportunistic. They test walls, they probe for weakness, they exploit cracks. And the man who refuses to guard himself is not noble, he is prey. Machiavelli warned rulers against excessive generosity and openness. Why? Because every time you grant unnecessary access, you weaken yourself. Every time you allow someone too close, you give them knowledge they can use to destroy you. Every time you explain yourself, you hand over the weapons of your own undoing. The fortress prevents this. It ensures that others see only what you allow, and nothing more. Look at kings. They lived surrounded by walls, not just to keep enemies out, but to preserve mystique. Distance breeds respect. Scarcity breeds value. When access is limited, presence becomes powerful. When you are always available, you become common. And the common man is never feared, never respected, never obeyed. This is why the fortress matters. It is not weakness to isolate. It is strategy. It creates scarcity. It generates intrigue. It forces others to come to you on your terms, never theirs. And most importantly, it shields you from the parasites who drain without giving. But the fortress is not only external, it is internal. Guard your time, guard your mind, guard your energy. Every conversation, every distraction, every pointless interaction is a thief. Thieves do not always come with knives. Sometimes they come with smiles, with friendship, with sympathy. But the result is the same. You are weaker when they leave than when they arrived. The fortress blocks this. It allows only those who strengthen you, who bring value, who contribute to your throne. The weak fear solitude. They rush to fill silence with noise, to fill space with people, to fill loneliness with distraction. But solitude is the crucible of the strong. In solitude, the mind sharpens. In solitude, the spirit hardens. In solitude, the man discovers that he is enough, that he needs nothing, fears nothing, depends on no one. That is why the fortress is not a prison, but a weapon. Do not mistake this for isolationism. A fortress is not about cutting yourself off from the world entirely. It is about controlling access. It is about designing your environment so that nothing enters without your permission and nothing leaves without your intent. You are the gatekeeper. You decide who approaches, who remains, who is exiled. That decision alone makes you untouchable. Think of your life as a citadel. Your attention is the treasury. Your energy is the army. Your loyalty is the crown. Would you leave your gates open for any stranger to wander in? Would you allow thieves to walk through your halls unchecked? Of course not. Yet that is what weak men do every day, handing out their time, their attention, their loyalty without calculation. And when their fortress collapses, they blame fate. No, it was their own negligence. Machiavelli warned against flatterers, and with reason. Flatterers are thieves in disguise. They praise you to lower your guard. They appeal to vanity to gain entry into your fortress. And once inside, they siphon your strength. The wise ruler keeps flatterers at bay or uses them as tools while never granting them real access. You must do the same. Praise is a trap. Approval is a chain. Do not let it weaken your defenses. Your fortress must also extend to your emotions. Do not allow every insult to breach your gates. Do not allow every provocation to pull you into battle. Do not allow every temptation to dismantle your self-control. When you react impulsively, you open the gate wide and invite your enemies in. When you remain unmoved, you stand high above them, untouchable. There is a reason ancient rulers surrounded themselves with ritual, with formality, with distance. It was not arrogance, it was protection. The more layers between them and others, the more untouchable they became. The same is true for you. Do not hand yourself out cheaply. Do not reveal everything. Do not give access to everyone. Your time, your mind, your presence must feel like a fortress, distant, scarce, impenetrable. And remember this, the fortress is not about hiding. It is about controlling the battlefield. From within your fortress, you choose when to open the gates. You choose when to ride out and strike. You choose who is allowed close and who is kept at a distance. This control alone makes you dangerous because no one can reach you unless you allow it. Weak men are always available, always exposed, always easy to reach. Strong men are not. The untouchable man makes his presence a privilege, not a guarantee. He controls access to himself the way a king controls access to his throne. And because of this, when he speaks, people listen. When he appears, people notice. When he commands, people obey. Isolation is not loneliness, it is strategy. The fortress is not fear, it is dominance. You do not hide in it, you rule from it. And when the time comes to unleash power, you do so on your terms, never anyone else's. Understand this. The man who cannot be reached cannot be destroyed. The man who cannot be drained cannot be controlled. The man who lives in his fortress, disciplined and selective, is the man who becomes untouchable. That is the law of the fortress. Build it, guard it, rule from it, and never apologize for the walls that protect your throne. Number 8. Betrayal and the knife behind the smile. The greatest threat to power is not the enemy outside, it is the traitor inside. Armies take time to gather, wars take resources, but betrayal requires only access, and access is the deadliest weapon of all. Caesar did not fall to foreign invaders, but to the daggers of men he once called allies. This is the law. Loyalty lasts only as long as fear and advantage remain. When either fades, betrayal comes. Weak men refuse to see this. They believe friendship is permanent, promises are sacred, brotherhood unbreakable. But every man has a price, every man has a fear, every man has a limit. To ignore this is suicide. The untouchable man expects betrayal. He studies it, he tests for it, and when it reveals itself, he does not hesitate. He cuts it out completely, swift, total, final. Mercy to a traitor is weakness. Half measures invite revenge. Never forget, The knife always hides behind a smile. The closer they are, the deeper they can wound. Protect your throne, guard your circle, and remember, betrayal cannot be erased, but it can be anticipated, managed, and eliminated. That is how power survives. Number 9, becoming untouchable. Power is not given, it's seized. The untouchable man does not ask, he does not wait, he calculates, executes, adapts. His silence is heavier than another man's anger. His presence bends the room without effort. He is not chained by weakness, not ruled by fear, not distracted by sentiment. He rules himself first, and because of that, the world bends to him. Now it's your turn. Type it in the comments. I am untouchable. Declare it so the weak version of you dies here. If this resonated with you, share it. Subscribe to SIG Rhythm, turn on notifications, and like this video to sharpen your edge even further. And when this ends, don't scroll away. The next video on the end screen will take you deeper into power. Watch it, continue the transformation,